Sometimes I look at our political scene and it really feels like some leaders believe they can just declare guilt or innocence from the very top,
Yeah.
like they can bypass the courts altogether.
Hmm.
It feels like they're acting as judge and jury. I was thinking about this just the other day, actually. My neighbor had this tiny dispute over a parking spot, nothing major,
Yeah.
but everyone suddenly wanted to be the judge. Everyone had the final say.
Right. It's human nature sometimes.
Exactly. But when you hear accusations that the prime minister might be doing that on a national scale,
Hmm.
well, what does that actually mean for the rest of us? Does a prime minister really have the power to sort of act as judge and jury for prominent figures?
That's a huge question.
It really is. And this isn't just some abstract idea. It's playing out right now, right in the headlines.
Well, that's the fascinating part, isn't it? How these perceptions, these strong opinions we're hearing, seem to clash directly with the actual roles laid out in our Constitution. We've certainly heard some forceful comments recently suggesting that a prime minister might be acting as a kind of, well, the term used was fake judge.
Fake judge. Well,
Yeah, basically acting without the constitutional authority to, declare someone wrong or guilty. This observation, it came from a very prominent former leader talking about the current head of government.
right.
But constitutionally speaking, a prime minister is the head of the executive branch. They're an administrator. Their job is governing, implementing policy.
Not judging legal cases.
Exactly. They are definitely not part of the judiciary. So accusing someone of being judge and prosecutor, that hits right at the heart of the separation of powers.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more. We're talking about Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, right? Malaysia's longest-serving former PM.
Yes, that's the former leader making these claims.
And he's been quite bold,
Yeah.
saying that when he was prime minister, he never, absolutely never, played the role of a judge. He didn't step on the court's toes.
That's his assertion, yes.
He even said, quite strongly, that he's not afraid of court himself. He's ready to go defend himself because he believes he hasn't done anything wrong.
A very direct challenge.
Very direct. And then he accused the current prime minister, Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim, of doing exactly what he says he didn't do, acting as both judge and prosecutor.
Playing both roles, essentially.
Yes. And this wasn't just a quiet comment, was it? This was at that public event, the 726 Anti-Anwar rally in Kuala Lumpur, a very public stage.
Indeed. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really throws the spotlight onto the separation of powers and the integrity of our legal system. Now, Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim, the current prime minister, he has responded to these accusations, specifically in the context of the Pedra Branca case, the White Rocks Island issue.
Yes. That keeps coming up.
It does, and he's been very consistent, saying he did not intervene with the Attorney General's decisions on that or any other case. He insists the Attorney General's chambers are independent.
Okay, but wasn't there an accusation from the opposition?
Yes, exactly. His statement was partly a response to Dato Seri Taqiyuddin Hassan, the chief whip for Perikatan Nasional.
Right.
Taqiyuddin accused Anwar of misleading Parliament on Pedra Branca, saying he overstepped his authority, and he even called for a special parliamentary committee to investigate the prime minister.
So, quite a serious charge from the opposition.
Very. And Anwar's defense, essentially, is that maybe Dato Seri Taqiyuddin Hassan hasn't read the full reports, from the Pedra Branca Sovereignty Task Force and the Royal Commission of Inquiry. He suggests the full truth isn't out there or hasn't been understood.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, though, isn't it? Because that Pedra Branca Sovereignty Task Force report, well, it had some pretty strong things to say itself.
It certainly did.
From what we understand, the report actually suggested that Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad himself was involved in, and I think the term used was treasonous acts related to Pedra Branca.
That language was reportedly in the findings, yes. Actions seen as harmful to national interest in how the dispute was handled?
And the task force apparently recommended reporting him to the police for potential action.
That was the recommendation highlighted, yes.
And yet, the cabinet, after discussing it and considering, I suppose, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad's situation,
Yeah.
they decided not to pursue legal action. No prosecution followed.
Correct.
After
That decision.
Or maybe the lack of a decision to prosecute. It's quite something, isn't it? Especially with those findings on the table. What do you make of that? It really complicates things.
It absolutely does. And it raises this critical question about accountability versus, well, pragmatism in politics, especially at the highest levels.
Pragmatism, yeah.
Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim actually referred to this whole situation, including the cabinet's decision on Mahathir, as a lesson for the government.
A lesson, how so?
He drew a parallel, apparently, to Malaysia's previous experience with the Sulawesi Sea sovereignty case. The implication seems to be that dealing with these sensitive territorial issues and the political fallout, it involves incredibly complex choices.
Not just black and white.
Far from it. It shows how decisions are made, balancing, formal findings and accountability against maybe other things like political stability or even the circumstances of the individuals involved. It's rarely a simple path.
But it's important to remember, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad's criticism isn't just about this one Pedra Branca case, is it?
No, it seems broader than that.
He's also voiced this wider critique, hasn't he? That under the current government, people he thinks are innocent are being prosecuted, while those he sees as, well, truly guilty are apparently getting away with things.
That's the narrative he's putting forward, yes.
He frames himself as someone who's done nothing wrong but faces scrutiny, while others, well, they walk free, in his view. It paints a picture of a justice system he sees as, I suppose, fundamentally unfair, selectively applied.
It's a very strong condemnation, certainly. And coming from a former prime minister, it carries significant weight in public perception.
Definitely shapes how people see things.
But what's crucial here, again, is that despite all these criticisms, the current prime minister, Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim, consistently states he does not interfere.
He sticks to that line.
Very firmly. He maintains that prosecution decisions are purely for the Attorney General's chambers, that they operate independently. His argument seems to be that accusations of him overstepping come from people not having the full picture.
Like with the Pedra Branca reports you mentioned.
Exactly. He points to those comprehensive reports from the Pedra Branca Sovereignty Task Force and the Royal Commission of Inquiry as examples where, he suggests, the full context would actually show he acted properly and didn't interfere. It's almost a call for more transparency to clear the air.
So it really boils down to this, doesn't it? You've got Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, the former PM, saying the current PM, Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim, is acting like a fake judge, a prosecutor, picking and choosing cases.
That's his claim.
He says he's innocent, ready for court, but the system under Anwar is skewed. Then you have Dato Seri Anwar Ibrahim saying, no, I follow procedure, I don't interfere, the Attorney General is independent.
And pointing to a specific cabinet decision regarding Mahathir himself as an example of perhaps complexity or leniency, not interference.
Right. It's this huge, very public clash between two major figures in Malaysian politics.
Yeah.
And it's not just about them, is it? It really makes you question things about leadership in our institutions.
Absolutely. This ongoing, very public argument about who holds judicial power, who influences it, and whether justice is truly impartial, it inevitably affects public trust.
How could it not?
When you have such serious accusations flying back and forth at the highest level, it can definitely erode confidence. Confidence in the courts, confidence in the political system itself. It raises fundamental questions for everyone.
Like, who do you believe?
Exactly. And what does it mean for accountability? For the rule of law? How does this kind of public discourse shape how we as citizens understand justice in Malaysia? Ultimately, how do we navigate this? How do we distinguish between legitimate concerns about the justice system and, well, political maneuvering when things get so heated at the top? Definitely something to think about as you go about your day.